Well, thank you, Paige, and to our audience today, thank you for your time, your attention, and frankly, your curiosity. I'm here today to talk about something that is in the best interests of your association, but doesn't directly involve reserve studies. We prepared the first ever reserve study for Champlain Towers South 2 years ago in early 2020, when that property was 39 years old. And because of its deteriorated state, we delivered bad news that included a large, hard-to-swallow special assessment. And we all know now that the board simply ran out of time to implement that plan to try to make up for decades of unchecked deterioration. That tragedy exposed what I believe are the cracks in the community association industry that we've been similarly ignoring, and it set us on a path to launch a new public service that I'll be discussing today. And this is how we'll divide our time. I'll start out laying out the background to the score and what it does, and then actually show you how it all works, doing a live demo. Well, we've all grown accustomed to numbers that help us make decisions, things that distill complex information into something easy to understand. And a great way to think of it is like sunscreen. You don't need to know the chemical compound or the mixture of things. All you need to know is the SPF rating of these very similarly bottled, but very different sunscreens. On the left of 50, meaning you'll get a lot of protection, 30 is medium protection, and 15 is not a lot of protection. And the number makes all the difference. Or it could be the calories in food products, helping you watch your diet or understand if the upcoming serving is going to be tiny or huge. And we all care about our personal FiPhO scores. That number reports our history, multi-year history of financial behavior, and it reports it to outside parties that want to know how risky or safe we are when it comes to financial matters. All that history wrapped up in one number. And that brings us to community associations, multi-million-dollar nonprofit entities. They're run, as you know, by an untrained volunteer board of directors, and you ask yourself what could possibly go wrong. Multi-million-dollar properties run by untrained volunteer board of directors. Well, as we see in our reserve studies, you can see that some do things like letting the asphalt just plain deteriorate and get unsightly, or allowing the pool deck to deteriorate to a point where the kids jumping in this pool are going to stub their toes and have a painful experience. Or it could be failing to paint parts of the building that fundamentally need to be painted, or parts of the perimeter of the property that need to be painted. All this is evidence of the financial decisions the board makes on a regular basis, the decisions they make to keep the monthly assessments low and not raise them to a point where the board has the funds it needs to keep the property in a good state of repair. In this cartoon, you see a very deteriorated property and the real estate representative suggesting rustic architecture, and they aren't wasting the dues on funding reserves and taking care of the place. And you can see that the potential buyers are not all that impressed. But there's more. You can see situations where the board is flat out turning a blind eye to deterioration, like this pool bathroom, or what used to be a tennis court. And the board has left this to be abandoned and reclaimed by nature. Or it could be something like this one, letting balcony decks deteriorate. And this is a dock and accessway bridge that simply is falling apart and is unsafe. I was very careful walking down this bridge, aware that I had to be very careful. I didn't want to be the one to punch through another one of these wood members. And so safety is an issue that's been in the back of our minds. And so while it was tragic that Champlain Tower South collapsed last June, in retrospect, it wasn't all that surprising. And we found that in itself unsettling, that the kind of decisions we'd been casually writing off as silly or unwise financially are now potentially very dangerous. It's no longer just a minor thing. Now, this is the profile of reserve fund strength across the country. About 30% of all associations are in the red weak zone on the left, where those boards aren't keeping up with deterioration. And as associations every year get older and older, those associations in the weak zone are exposing themselves to larger and larger consequences of deferred maintenance, or maybe I should say more significant consequences of deferred maintenance. And the problem is especially worse in states like Florida, where owners have the power to waive reserve funding. We have a large portfolio of clients in Florida, so we have enough data to map here, and you can see that instead of curling off as you get to really weak associations. A lot of Florida associations vote to waive reserves and just are facing the consequences. The number is 30% in the red zone here, and it's almost 45% in the red zone in Florida. And that's a real problem with the board and the owners at cross purposes. The owners just wanting to keep the assessments low, the board trying to raise assessments to provide enough money to run the place. And this is a picture of me at Champlain Tower South in December last year. It's a very sobering place. You could almost smell the tragedy right in the air. And it was very clear something fundamentally in our industry had to change. And by that time, we were working on the concept of this new idea, new public service. And we were, at this point in time, committed to doing whatever we could to turn the tide and begin to make this into reality. We realized that with 35 years in this industry, with clients in every state that we've been supporting, every management company, we were already experts in the physical and financial behaviors of association. All this put together, we realized we were the right people to try to make a change. And the goal was to introduce something virtuous, something aspirational to improve the future of our industry and turn attention away from the key metric that continually drives our industry right now. And that's that siren song leading associations down a destructive path as they pursue low monthly assessments. And of course, knowing our client base, it needed to be free. And again, knowing our clients, it would be really nice if we could make it actually provide an income stream for the association or the management company. So we put all these ideas into the hopper, and we came out with this new public service called Association Insights and Marketplace, and what we call the FiPhO Health Score. It's the combination of the financial health, physical health, and operational health. So at this point in time, I'll shift to a demonstration. We launched Association Insights and Marketplace in early May at the CAI conference in Orlando. The website, ourfipho.com, is up and running. It's currently serving boards all across the country. Yet for today's demonstration, I'll be using our backup site so I can make changes without messing with any association's live data. So here I go, changing gears, and I'm now on live internet. Okay, you can do this on ourfipho.com. I'm on the backup, what we call the staging site, and it's really this simple. You can search for your association, claim it, personalize it, and manage it. And that's all there is to it. You can see there's going to be two color codings, claimed associations and unclaimed associations. So let me do that. Paige, you are in Colorado, so let me filter by Colorado, and let me try something. Denver, how about this? We'll just take the top one. 400 East 3rd Street, Denver, 74 units. So we select that, and you can see there's really nothing here. Clearly, it's something possible that you can do, but this is an orange unclaimed association, so let me claim it now, and I can start doing the demo. So in the claiming process, you identify yourself, create an account. So it's me, and I will log in. And now I'm logged in. I'm going to claim this association. See this here? It really doesn't allow me to do much, but once I claim it, I have to certify that I'm involved with this association either as an owner or under contract with the board of directors as their managing agent. I do qualify. And who do I want to be for this demo? Let's be a board member, although I could be the agent or an owner. And I will be how about vice president? My address, I should have written down the address of the property. 1234, let's pick just a Los Angeles address, and certify that I am this person, I live here, and I agree to the website's terms and conditions. Basically, we're not going to share your information. I am who I say I am, and I'm going to claim the association. So I'm successfully claimed, and now the menu comes live, and I can see all that's going on. This will update to green in just a moment. So I've now claimed it, and I am the initial claimer on this association. I'm a board member, is where I live, and if at any point in time I move away, I can release my claim. And this is where you would see the manager, owner's not on the board. And this is a good time to say this whole site is built on transparency and trust. If there is someone here who is not on the board, all you do is just release their claim and kick them out, and that's that. Okay, so we're here on the home page. I can upload an image, and I will do exactly that. Got a list of properties here from reserve study work we do. I'll use that as the cover shot, upload it, and not very Denver looking, but this is literally how you begin to create the site and personalize it for your association. That's home. I've shown you the claimers. The heart of the site is the profiles. And notice that there's some information here: address, number of units. Operational profile is pretty incomplete. Financial profile is almost totally incomplete. And this is what will guide you as you start filling things out. So let's start filling out the physical profile. This is a high rise. So first I'll do is edit it. It's residential apartment style. And let's call it 2005. Yeah, I like these choices. And let's just stop right here now. You can see date last modified is when we uploaded the raw data that just was the name of the association. If I certify and save, you can see now it's updated to today by Robert Nordlund. And let's do a little bit more on this page. Let's give it some community commentary, easy access to city parks, something like that. So community commentary. Balconies, we said it was a multi-story building, so let's say yes. Clubhouse, no. Covered parking, yes. Elevators, yes. Pool, spa, let's say no. And let's say no on tennis court. And again, certify and save. And we have, unless we want to change things, this is the physical profile. It's really that easy. Okay, let's go to operational profile. And you can see again the same thing, date last modified, but you have some opportunities here to do some more things. Tell me more about this association. So again, let's edit it. Jump over here, board meeting frequency. Let's say this is a monthly kind of place. Annual election is, let's say, October. Let's give it a fiscal year end of December 31st. It's a condo. Website is, what's the name of this place? 400 East 3rd.org, something like that. Certify and save. And let's see this change. And now it's 56% complete. Again, you can see how we're just building the site. Pretty easy questions. Let's give it a few more easy answers. Management is professionally managed by company website is ddpropertyservices.com. Company address, don't really care about that. Owner occupied, let's say this is, what do we say? Sure, 74%. How's that? Save. Call that pretty good. And see it jump up to 82% complete. Now, at this point in time, you're wondering, what's the effect of all this? Well, let me jump ahead to the score. You can see that we've entered some physical information, some operational information. We haven't entered any financial information. So let's enter some more additional information, and let's see how we can get that score to increase. All right. So let's go to financial profile. And a lot we can do here, same kind of process, edit it. And since it's the monthly place, we'll say it is indeed monthly. Reserve fund. I forgot how many units at this place. Wasn't that big, but let's say as of June 30th, it was 100 grand. Delinquencies, let's say they are doing a real good job on delinquencies here, 2.5%. Special assessments, none. That's good. And number of assessment increases, 4 out of the past 5 years, they've increased assessments. That's a good thing. And certify and save. Watch the profile change. 38% complete. Nice. And we should be able to see the score trending up, but let's put a little more information in here. Get back to editing. And there's 2 fields here, the budget and the reserve study, that you can't just answer questions until you upload the file. We feel that that's the responsible thing to do. So for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm just going to choose any old PDF, although it should be a budget. My personal Avis receipt. And for the period starting, let's see, this is a December 31st type of place. So it'll be the period starting January 1st of 2022. What are we going to say for total income? Let's say 360,000. And the assessment income, most of that is coming from the homeowners. Reserve funding, let's say it's 20,000 per year. And this is, they're very proud that it's a balanced or cash positive budget. And let's save it. There we go. Climbing up to being pretty complete. $394 per home monthly assessment. But boy, those of you who are paying attention to our reserve study webinars, you should know that a 5.5% of total budget going to reserves is pretty darn weak. So this is not going to be good for this association's score. And let's add a couple more things. The same thing, I'll choose a file and I'll just pick another receipt. This should be your reserve study and the 1-year period. Let's go back a year or 2. Do January 1st of 2020. Reserve fund strength, they weren't that strong back then. 40%. Reserve study preparer was a volunteer. Preparer's name was Elaine Smith. And let's just say that Elaine was the long-term treasurer, so had no credential. So now we've filled this out pretty well. Save. There we go. We filled out the information. You might say, wait, we've got incomplete information here on the operational profile. Well, that's correct. I wanted to show that because, yes, we have a few unknowns here, and that can affect their score. But let's look at the health score. They're up to 53, even though you and I know they can and should be doing better. Clearly, they could. I'm going to go back to the profiles page. They could have a stronger reserve fund strength. They could and should be putting more money aside. Good for them to have a number of assessment increases. That's a good thing. Good for them to have no special assessments. But I'm guessing that this property is headed for some trouble. They really need to be doing a better job in their numbers over here. And the same with operational profile. Let's fill out some of this operational information. Number of months since a successful election, that was within the last year, and number of months since a new board member was elected. That was not this last year, but the year prior. And now that should get us pretty complete. There we go. And that is pretty much it. This association is a 64. And let me comment on this just a moment. Financial factors are 37% of the score. Physical health factors are 35%. Operational health factors, 28%. And it's a rating of 1 to 100. It's not like a school score where a 64 is really pretty lousy, just about to fail. If your child got that on a chemistry test, you'd feel very disappointed. Scores here go all the way down to 1 and all the way up to 100. So this is what we're talking about with trying to encourage boards toward virtuous behavior. Let's see, what else can I show? Let's go back to the home screen. There is this AIM score that will allow outside people to come and see how the association is doing. If you're not comfortable with that, you can not list it. And I think I uploaded this thing twice. These are the documents that are for sale. And let me show you how we can manage that. I can dump one of these. And then we have opportunity to not list them. But these are the documents. The documents are your documents. They are there for sale to what we call shoppers, not people. It's not designed for people in the middle of a real estate purchase transaction. That's all handled already by very other sophisticated methods. This is for all the shoppers out there. And the revenues from the sale of these documents goes directly to the association. The revenues from the sale of the AIM report, the score, that goes to AIM to keep the lights on for this website. Trends is not working at this point in time. There's just not enough history available. And the profiles, I just want to show you that there's this marketplace profile. This is where you would enter your banking information, so the information from these sales can be deposited to your account. And that's just not activated here on the staging site. And by design, everything is free through Labor Day. We want to stimulate use of this and encouraging both the boards and the real estate community to start getting comfortable with this new website. And I believe, let me I'll give you a sneak preview of what that AIM report looks like. So what do we see here? 14 pages with the cover picture, little introductory words. Again, this is a PDF of just a sample showing the overall score. A little more detail about financial information, a little more detail about physical information, a little more detail about operational information. Red is bad. In this place, they have the owner-occupied is starting to creep low down towards a 50%. And if you upload a number of pictures, you can get the number of pictures showing here. And I believe that takes me to the end of the demo, the planned demo. So let me get the PowerPoint back. And let me take a few minutes and just summarize what I've just been able to show you. I want to make it clear that with AIM and the national objective FiPhO score, it's machine calculated. It's not anyone's opinion. You finally learn where your association stands, and you're in a position to see your association either begin to improve its score, climb during the year or over the course of years. And what's most importantly, we don't want your score to slip. Until this time, there's been no way for you to know how are we doing. We want to eliminate the brick wall of secrecy. We want to enhance transparency. We want all your owners to know what's going on. We want their buyers to know what's going on. So there is a completed feedback loop. So everyone is aware what the truth is about the association. And we want to have everyone use this metric to take their eyes off that destructive goal of low monthly assessments. It is so important for boards to realize it's not in their best interest to pursue this goal. And at so many associations where owners have a voice or a vote, what this score can do then is align homeowners with the board instead of an angry mob outside in pursuit of a high score, because high scores mean the association is doing well. High scores are going to command higher property values, and their stature in the community is going to grow. For managers, it's a new tool to use as you coach board behavior. Previously, you just stood on your own authority. Now you can say, do this, and it'll help improve your score. And it'll help you also quickly and easily identify either needy and struggling properties or the thriving properties and give them the additional staff time and attention that they need. I want to make it clear that Association Reserves is still in the reserve study business as a national leader in its field. AIM is the new online public service that we've created. No information is shared between the two companies. Private reserve studies stay private unless you are the one that uploads that information into AIM. And also, with the tragic collapse last year, we did not want to wait for one or more or 50 states to require this type of a scoring system. We didn't feel like a committee at the government level would get it right. We realized that we were in a position with our years of experience and our connections in the industry to put together a nice metric to make this work. We don't at this time have industry trade organizations endorsing it, although CAI is aware of it. They are encouraging our success, but it was not invented at CAI. And so they can't officially endorse it. So we are working with the support of major management companies, major financial institutions, the ones that you see at every CAI trade show. And we're working with CAI's encouragement to get this going up to a critical mass. Then you'll hear from them. But the bottom line is this new national scoring system is free. The website allows you to sell association documents to interested owners and shoppers before they become buyers, pocketing that money. The information is accurate because it's sourced right to the board or manager, and you finally get a simple measurement on a 1 to 100 scale of where your association stands. And that brings me to the end of my planned curriculum. I'd like to turn it over to Paige, who will handle our Q&A time so I can address all your questions. So Paige, it's all yours.